Welcome back to another video with Playing War Thunder with Tamboli. Now, we will be checking out the T-80b for the Soviet top tier MBT. So, let's go to the modifications. First thing we will be doing is checking out the gun. Now, the T-80b comes with a 125mm 2A46M-1 gun. So, let's go over the rounds. Now, the first round you get is the 3BM22. Very good round for when you start out with the vehicle. Now, at 0 degrees, 10 meters, it penetrates up to 425 millimeters of armor. Now, go down to 2,000 meters, 0 degrees, it penetrates up to 380 millimeters of armor. At 30 degrees, 10 meters, it penetrates up to 348 millimeters of armor. Now, at 2,000 meters, 30 degrees, it penetrates up to 311 millimeters of armor. So, next round we will be moving on. After you pretty much grind down to, how would you say, rank 4, you can unlock the 3BM42 Mango round. At 0 degrees, 10 meters, it penetrates up to 479 millimeters of armor. At 2,000 meters, 0 degrees, it penetrates up to 445 millimeters of armor. At 30 degrees, it penetrates, at 30 degrees, 10 meters, it penetrates up to 415 millimeters of armor. Then at 2,000 meters, it penetrates up to 385 millimeters of armor at 30 degrees. So let's move on to the next round. Next round is the 3BK18M. At 10 meters, going all the way down to 2,000 meters, it penetrates up to 550 millimeters of armor. Then at 30 degrees, all the way down from 10 meters to 2,000 meters, it penetrates up to 476 millimeters of armor. Now, this round is good for shooting at the sides of different MBTs and shooting at lightly armored vehicles such as anti-air vehicles. So, next round we will be moving on to is the 30F26, which is a high explosive fragmentation shell, or HD for short. So, at 0 degrees, 10 meters, all the way down to 2,000 meters, it penetrates up to 42 millimeters of armor, and that's going all the way from 30 degrees and 6 degrees of armor. Now, this round is very good for taking out different types of MB, or taking out every MBT at top tier. Now, the reason why this round is very good is because on the top of different, or on the top of all the MPTs at top tier, there's only around 42 to 40 millimeters of armor on the top of the deck of the vehicle. So pretty much this round is very good at doing what it does. It hits the turret, or it hits one of the components on top of the turret, and it splashes down from the turret, or from the turret to the deck of the vehicle, which penetrates the upper armor of the vehicle, which kills the crew and stuff. So, next round we will be moving on to is the 9M112, which is a ATGM that fires out of the main gun. Now, this round is pretty good at doing what it does. So, at 10 meters, 0 degrees, it penetrates 650 millimeters of penetration, which that's going all the way down to 2,000 meters, 0 degrees. It penetrates that much, 650 millimeters of armor. So at 30 degrees, 10 meters, all the way down to 2,000 meters, it penetrates up to 563 millimeters of armor, which is pretty good. Now, this missile is pretty good, but the missile I'd rather use is the the T-80 missile, which has 700 millimeters of penetration. So, but that is pretty good for taking out vehicles at long ranges. So, we will be checking out the X-ray of the vehicle of the T-80b. So let's go right to that. So as you can see, we have 3 crew members, which is the commander, gunner, and driver. Now you can see in the frontal hull the composite armor, which is 4 layers. which is 60 millimeters of high hardness rolled armor, and then 2 layers of 100 millimeters of textilite. Then after the textilite, it's 45 millimeters of high hardness rolled armor. Then on the very top of that composite is the contact 5, which, no, my bad, contact 1, my bad. Okay, you have 5 millimeters of kinetic protection, and then you have 370 millimeters of chemical protection. So, which is on, it's also on the turret, the top of the turret, and right here side, on both right and left side of the turret. It's also on the side of the vehicle too. So let's check out the turret armor. You have a composition of 180 millimeters of cast homogeneous armor. Then you have 120 millimeters of quartz core. Then you have 195 millimeters of cast homogeneous armor. You see the gun, which is right here. You see the crew members. You have the gunner and commander on top. Now, the ammunition is stored in a carousel, which carries 28 rounds of munition inside the carousel and stuff. This gun is a autoloader, which has 7.1 second reload, which the carousel is pretty much open in the vehicle. You can shoot pretty much right here in the center, and you can blow up the whole tank, which is right here, the crew. The ammunition is sitting right here. Now, let's check out the engine. So, you have the engine, which is right here, which has horsepower of 2,099 horsepower. Then at 3,154 RPM. So, it also goes up to 48 miles an hour, as you can see right here. Now, I play in arcade, so it's different. It'll be different in realistic battles. So, let's move on to the transmission. Max speed going forward, 48 miles an hour, 9 gears. Now, it does get up there because this is a gas turbine engine, so it will get there. It usually sits around 45 miles per hour. Now, max speed going backward is 7.6 miles per hour, which is going backward, which is not, it's not bad, but it's not good. It's right in the middle. So at least you can get out of situations that you need to get out, but it's not going to be as good as some of the Western reverse speeds. It has 1 gear going backward. So let's check out the armor. We'll be going to protection analysis. So let's use its own round, T-80b, which is the round we'll be using. Let's go to 1,000 meters, and let's check out the front. Now, the T-80b can penetrate anywhere on this vehicle from the front, as you can see from there, from different shots. Now, the turret is a different case. You can't penetrate the turret unless you go for the that part right there, which is right there, or you can go for the cannon breech, which you can shoot out the gun, the cannon breech in the gun, or you can just go right here and kill the commander, or just go right here and kill the gunner. Now, or you just go from the center and kill pretty much the driver and take out the what's face ammunition rack, which is right here, or the carousel. So it's pretty much, it could be penetrated from it. It could be penetrated by its own round. So let's go back. Actually, no, let's go back to protection analysis. Let's go to different countries. Let's go to M1 IP, or the IP M1. And now this gun, if I go to its standard round, or the height round it uses, it can penetrate it from there and from here. But where what's the face, the high rolled homogeneous armor is at, or the high hardness armor is at, my bad, it's sitting, it can't penetrate it. But it can penetrate it in some areas. Pretty much right here, it cannot penetrate, but from here to here to here, it can penetrate. Now, turret, you cannot penetrate the turret. you can penetrate the cannon breech of the turret, which is right here. You can penetrate. I usually go for the right side of the turret, which is right here, which you can penetrate. There you go. Start right there. Or you can go from the bottom piece right here. Or pretty much you just go for the driver's hatch, which is what everybody goes for. So after that, let's move on to the Germans. Leopard 284, which has the 120mm gun. So the DM-12, I believe, can penetrate. Yeah, it can penetrate the front in some areas. Now with the Contact 5, my bad, Contact 1 that's sitting there, it can't penetrate it. But it can penetrate it when the Contact 1 is not there, which is, as you can see from here. It also can penetrate the turret in some areas. Now, where the Contact 1 is sitting at, it's kind of iffy when you're penetrating, but when the Contact 1 is not there, it can penetrate. Or you can penetrate between the little, the gaps right here between the Contact 1, which is sitting right here. Penetrate like that and get a shot on them. But APFSDS can penetrate pretty much all over this vehicle. It can't penetrate from here, but it can penetrate right there through the the driver's hatch. It can also penetrate the cannon breech, which is right here, which is pretty much this whole area right here. You can penetrate. So let's move on. We already did that. Move on to British. Challenger Mark III. Let's pull out its best round, which is this. The Shot L23A1. So let's check it out. Now you can see it's the same. It's the same general areas where it can't penetrate, which is like where the armor is mostly compacted. Now it can penetrate right here where the armor is the armor is not fully filled in right here on the spot where the driver is sitting at. So you can penetrate pretty much right here to the center. You can also penetrate the cannon breech, as with any rounds at top tier. So as we're done with that, the French also can penetrate the frontal armor of it. The AMX-40 and the the Leclerc can penetrate the frontal armor of the T-80b. So let's move on to the size specifications. We already know it has 3 crew members. Mass is 43.0 tons. Engine power, we already know that, is 2,099 horsepower at 3,154 RPM. Max speed, 48 miles an hour. Visibility, 78%. Reloading time, 7.1 second for the reloading. This is a auto loader inside the T-80b, which is for pretty much all of the Soviet top tier, which is from the T-64 all the way down to the T-80U and the T-72A, which have the autoloaders. So let's go on to the test drive. So the first round we will be using is the 9M112 missile ATGM. So let's test it on the Leopard A1A1. As you can see, it's pretty good at getting to its target, but it's not as fast as APFSDS. So let's go back to our 3BK18M. So let's get that out. As you can see, with the 7.1 second reload, we can shoot back pretty quickly. So let's test it out. Now it's good for taking out lower tier vehicles that come up into high tier vehicles. Now I play in arcade, so it'd be different and stuff. with the different match roles and different things. But yes, let's move on to our 3BM 42.
Подкалиберным. Готово.
As you can see, it's a beautiful tank with the different camo I got on here, which is the parade camo, which I love looking at. Vehicle looks very Cold War, very clean too. Love it. So let's test it out on the KPZ. As you can see, you can penetrate the KPZ at long ranges and stuff. As you can see, the different what's the face, how far the round can shoot is pretty good. The distance that it can shoot at is pretty good. So let's take out the Chieftain Mark 10.
Прекратить огонь.
As you can see, very accurate at shooting. So also, let's test out the speed going forward and let's test out the speed going backward, and let's see if this has any neutral steering. So let's go forward. As you can see, it pretty much settles around 39, 38, 36 miles an hour, but it gets there. It gets to 42 miles an hour, but not fast. But at least it's very responsive in starting up. So let's go backward. You see, it gets there to 7 miles an hour. I mean, this is it's not bad, but it's not good. It's pretty much it's just there to get you out of situations that you need to get out. So it won't get you out there. It's not good for getting you out there, getting out of bad situations quickly. It's just good for getting you out of different situations that you can get out of with the speed you got. So let's test out. Now, it doesn't have neutral steering, but it does have one-track steering. But it's still good for doing what it needs to do. So let's shoot the M1A1 Abrams. Let's go for the lower hole of the Abrams.
Прекратить огонь.
As you can see from the destruction of the round, it's pretty good at doing what it needs to do. Now let's go back and let's test out the 3BM42 on different vehicles. So let's go to USA. Let's test out the M1A1 Abrams and the IPM1. So let's go to IPM1 first. Now, as you can see with the 3BM42, it can penetrate pretty much the right and left side of the turret of the IPM1, as you can see from there and from here. The little hole, and it can ricochet off of the top glaciers, or it could just penetrate. But we're done with that. Let's move on to the M1A1 Abrams, which has the same armor as the IPM1, but we're just gonna test it out anyway. So let's pull out our 3BM42. Let's test it. As you can see, we can penetrate the right and left side of the turret with ease. Also, we can still penetrate the lower hole of the M1A1 Abrams. We can also ricochet the round into the cannon breech, which is right here, as you can see. Or we can get a shot that penetrates the top part, but I'd rather go for the left side of the turret, which is right here, which you can get the gunner, which is the best spot to aim for when you're fighting M1 Abrams. So let's move on to the Leopard 2A5 and the Leopard 2A4. Let's get the Leopard 2A4 out. Let's go to USSR, 3BM42. So let's test the turret shot. Now, turret shot is kind of hard to get to, but if you aim right there where the sight is, you can kill the gunner and commander, and sometimes hit the cannon breach if you're lucky enough. Or you could just go for the cannon breach and take out the gun. Pretty much take out the gun so the gun don't shoot back at you, or the enemy don't shoot back at you. Or you could just go. Now we can penetrate the right side of the turret, which you can kill the loader. But I rather prefer to shoot right here where the sight is, so you can kill the gunner and pretty much immobilize him. Then, or if he's showing his lower hull, upper glacis, you can penetrate anywhere on the hull of the vehicle. But the best shot to go for, which I take, is on the left side of the vehicle, which you can kill the driver, gunner, and commander, as you can see with the X-ray. Let's move on to the Leopard 2A5. Now, the Leopard 2A4 is pretty easy to face against or fight against. So, protection analysis, USSR, 3BM42. Turret shot is not possible. Can't penetrate here. Even if we try to aim for this spot, it's not going to do anything, because the gunner is sitting down lower than the sight is. Let's try the other side. Still can't penetrate it. But you can penetrate the cannon and pretty much get a cannon breach shot, which is right there. Now, usually I try to go for the turret ring, which is right here. You can penetrate that and pretty much get the cannon breach. Now, if you aim right here, you can get pretty much a multitude of different crew shots. You can kill the commander or the gunner, or take out the cannon breach. Now, usually if the hole is shown, I aim for the left side of the vehicle, which is right here, which you can take out the driver and gunner. So let's go back. Let's go to Britain. Now, British vehicles are very easy to take out at top tier. So let's go to Challenger Mark III. Now, the turret of the Challenger Mark III is kind of hard to crack with the round. So let's take out my T-80. There we go. CPM42. Now, it's kind of hard to crack the turret of the Chieftain Mark III, but the shots I usually go for is right here, which you could take out the cannon breach and the gunner, if possible. Now, the upper hull of the Chieftain Mark III is very easy to be penetrated, and that's with every round at top tier. You can go for the lower hull of the vehicle, the upper hull of the vehicle, which you can go through the driver's hatch and pretty much kill everybody in the turret and the cannon breach. Now, since we're done with that, let's go on to Japan. Let's check out the Type 90. Take out our Soviet vehicle, T-80b, 3BM42. Now, we can penetrate pretty much anywhere on the turret of the Type 90, which is right here. Anywhere on the turret. We can also penetrate the lower hull of the the Type 90. But the shot I go for is pretty much where the gunner is, which is right here. Which you could take out the gunner and the cannon breach at times. But right there is the killing blow of this vehicle. So, since we're done with that, let's go on to the French. Let's take out the AMX-40. Now, you can penetrate anywhere on the AMX-40, which I'll show you. You can penetrate anywhere on the AMX 40, which is frontal. You can penetrate everything. Let's move on to the Leclerc S1. Now, you can't penetrate right here, but you can penetrate the upper hull of the vehicle. The upper glacis, my bad. You can also penetrate the lower hull of the vehicle, which is right here. You can penetrate the cannon breech. And you can penetrate the lower part of the turret, which is the turret ring area. But you cannot penetrate the upper part of the turret, which is very thick. So we're done with that. Let's go back. So as you can see, the T-80b is a very capable vehicle at top tier to play with. And I love it. I love playing this vehicle at top tier. It's very fun to play with. So, thank you for coming back to my videos, and I'll catch you later on the battlefields.